But in the months that you've been living here, how is living in Vancouver compared to living in Cabo?
Well, it's completely different.
In what ways?
In literally every single way. First of all, the pace of life is completely different. It's much more relaxed here. Mm-hmm. The weather is nice. I honestly forgot that it rains.
Welcome to the Nick Fong Podcast. As the broker and owner of Ronival Real Estate, Nick has spent nearly 20 years in Baja California, sir. And in this podcast, he'll be talking everything Baja, from food and culture to real estate and property management. And now, here's your host, Nick Fong.
All right, welcome back to the podcast. And today's a little bit different. I have a special guest, Max Sidorik.
Sidorik, that's correct.
And Max is a client of ours here at Ronival. And what makes it a little bit different than past podcasts is, Max, you live here.
That's correct, yes.
And so tell everyone where you were before moving to Cabo.
So originally I was born in Belarus. It's between Russia and Poland. And then we moved to Canada. We lived in Canada for 22 years. Mm-hmm. And then now we're here.
Where in Canada?
Canada, Vancouver, British Columbia. Yeah.
And so you moved here recently. Why did you move to Los Cabos?
Well, it's interesting because we had no intention. We just came to visit here. Uh-huh. And then we stayed for a week. And then we thought, oh, this is really nice. And the weather is perfect, everything is great. But then the part of my job, what I do with real estate, I just found there's a lot of opportunities here. That's what I thought. This is my opinion. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been proven yet, but it's in my opinion. And then that's it. We quickly started to look into something, and then we found it.
What did you find?
Well, interestingly, we had to go through every single little area available here. And this is where Cynthia, one of your realtors, helped us a lot. We found in Palmyra. Mm-hmm. It was a lot of debate between Kerenci and Palmyra. Those are the two major areas here, or one of the major areas, two of the major areas. And then we ended up staying in Palmyra. We got a lot.
So you got a lot in Palmyra, and the idea is not just to own a lot, you're going to build on it, right?
Yeah, the idea is to build. Okay. Yeah, I find, again, it's my opinion, but I find the margins, the profit margins on the construction seem to be a little bit more advantageous at this point.
Yeah. Then back in Vancouver?
Then buying something which has already been built. But it depends because the risks are also different, and I am accustomed for risk taking. Mm-hmm. So to me, it's the better way to go.
So when you moved from Belarus to Vancouver 22 years ago, were you in real estate at that time?
No, I was in high school.
You were in high school. Okay, so you're in high school and you moved to Vancouver.
Yeah.
What were you doing after high school? What did you study?
Well, I was 19. Technically, I was a year after high school. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, I fell in love. And it was a girl. And it was all like nothing else. And then we went to French university. And then it was just the college life. Yeah. Nothing really particular.
So you get married. And you actually have 2 kids.
Yes. Actually, I got married in Canada to a girl, and she was the first person I met in Canada.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a mutual friend. I came in to Canada. First date was dark already. So he said, let's go, I'll show you around. And then he said, I need to stop by one place and give a textbook to a friend of mine. And there you go. So that was the girl who I met for the first person in Canada, and I got married.
So when you moved to Canada, were you speaking English?
No.
No. Your wife, how did you communicate with her?
Well, she is Russian as well.
Oh, she is? Okay.
Well, I'm from Belarus. She is Russian. Yeah, she actually came a year before me.
And have you found like a Russian community in Los Cabos?
I did send a number of kind of requests on Facebook group, but it's actually funny. When you go on an expat forum and you ask a question, typically, no matter what you ask, it always comes back, buy my real estate.
So there's a lot of real estate agents.
A lot of real estate, or who needs the wife, just rent my apartment. So I found it very funny. No, actually, there are quite a few, but I don't think it's a dominant group. I might be wrong. I'm not here. I've only been here for long enough,
So Max, what are you doing here? I mean, you've been here for several months. We were talking before the camera started rolling. Your 8-year-old is here with you and your wife, right? And going to school here. What's that like?
Well, everything is great so far. School had a little transition at the beginning for him, for my son, just mostly because of Spanish, but he was very excited. We've been homeschooled for a year due to pandemic. That was tough. And going back, he was just happy to see other kids. So from that standpoint, he was really excited. From what we do, interestingly enough, a part of my trade, or what I used to specialize before, is in accounting. And we actually shifted our accounting practice completely online about 7 years ago.
Good for you.
So for us, it was a fairly easy transition. And now real estate is worldwide.
Yes. And are you still managing investments back in Canada?
Absolutely. Yeah, we have a large investment portfolio for real estate, and we also have our accounting practice. Yeah.
Okay. And I know you started with the lot, and you're going to do a house. We'll probably talk off camera about other real estate opportunities.
Sure.
And but in the months that you've been living here, how is living in Vancouver compared to living in Cabo?
Well, it's completely different.
In what ways?
In literally every single way. First of all, the pace of life is completely different. It's much more relaxed here. The weather is nice. I honestly forgot that it rains, because in Vancouver it's always rains. And I think the last year we even had almost 8 to 9 months of rain, kind of non-stop, one after another.
In Vancouver?
In Vancouver, yeah. So, wearing my shorts every day, that's a big change. But in terms of the development, even communication, even how friendly people are, I know everybody keeps saying that, but it's just, maybe it's the weather, it's warm. People more open here, I find. But things take a long time to get anything done here. So that's my lesson number one.
Maybe that's why we're so happy. We're just like, mañana, it's okay.
Well, I would say 3 days after mañana.
Mañana means 4 days. Or
mañana means 4 days, okay. Well, my Spanish is still mejorando.
So you're learning Spanish?
Oh, yes.
Are you with a teacher, a tutor, or online?
No, I've tried it, but I know it's a little bit strange, but I could speak 5 languages before. I lost a couple of them. I haven't practiced for a while, but I find that now that I know actually how to learn myself a little bit quicker than with a teacher, and it's just from the driving and communicating and this and that, I find it way more efficient, just kind of take it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like a genius or something with languages. And so you probably untap that part of your brain that you can just...
Well, here's the thing. If you know 4 languages, main languages, you pretty much can combine another language from those 4.
So we're the Russian?
So Russian, English, then if you speak French, right? Italian is very similar. Spanish will be very similar.
Yeah.
Then my native language is from Belarus, and then there is like Polish, and then Ukrainian, all this stuff kind of mix and dialects and stuff like this.
Wow.
Yeah, and Serbian. Serbian is, I don't speak Serbian, but Serbian to me is a combination of English and French.
That's wild.
That's funny.
Hey, thanks for being a part of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast to get the latest updates. And if you're watching this on our social channels, please like and share. And if you want to be featured or you want me to talk on a certain topic, food, activities, culture, real estate in the Baja, drop a comment. So what about activities? What kind of activities do you, the wife, and kid get out and do?
Well, we typically do a lot of driving and looking around. Mm-hmm. In Cabo here, there's a lot of areas. We always get something to do with work related. I know it might sound a little bit lame, but I'm the fitness fanatic. I always go to the gym pretty much every single day. So that's the first thing I did. But driving, looking at the neighborhoods, looking mm-hmm. for opportunities, things like this, and we fly. I love the fact that we can just pop on the plane here, be in Guadalajara or be in Mexico City, like within an hour and a half or something. Yeah. And it's like $70, $90, $100, and it's just so quick. Yeah. So traveling,
So you're traveling a lot within Mexico?
Mexico and United States, yeah.
Uh-huh. Oh, nice. And what is one of the things that you didn't know about living in Mexico that you could tell our viewers now that you've been living here for several months?
Okay, so that's a good question. You got me a little bit off guard with that one.
Good and bad.
First of all, I don't think it is as dangerous as we perceive that to be, especially from Canada or US. Mm-hmm. I would say especially from Canada, because Canada is all rainbows and unicorns. But then the perception is kind of, and it's not true. I mean, probably there are some areas, but so far, the highways here, you better learn how to drive.
Defensive driving, right?
Defensive, yeah. I thought Los Angeles was defensive driving. No.
I'm going there tomorrow to Los Angeles with the family, so.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so watch out on the highways. It's not as dangerous as you think.
Not as dangerous. People genuinely are happy to help you.
Yeah.
And what I noticed, especially from the forum, there are a lot of single people who want to come here, single ladies. It doesn't matter what age. There is a little bit of the fear, like what I'm going to do, who I'm going to meet, and then am I going to be alone?
Yeah.
What am I going to, what interests are available? And obviously, I never kind of get involved with that, but I see that this is a pretty big concern for a lot of people, and I think this is not a really big deal. We met a lot of people who are genuinely happy to help you, mm-hmm. Especially if you just kind of come here for the first time. You join one of the expat Facebook forums, mm-hmm. and with some exceptions, the majority of people are very helpful.
Yeah.
So that, and then plus the sports, and then the lifestyle is really nice.
Cool. Anything else that you'd like our viewers to know?
In regards to...
What about buying real estate? How was that experience? Because you bought a lot of real estate in Canada. How is it similar? Yeah. How is it different?
So the big difference is that, let's say in Canada, when we buy, we have a full 100% confidence that everything what we see, that's what we get. Mm-hmm. The paperwork is done, and you can trust your lawyer, you can trust this and that. It's a little bit different in Mexico, that you would have to do a little bit more due diligence. It's one thing when you stay within development areas like Palmyra, for example, like Herencia. It's definitely not a big deal in this case. There's a lot of documentation on files, and there are quite a bit of realtors and the lawyers and accountants who already work in this area. So you don't really need to go and rediscover the wheel.
Yep.
However, if you are trying to look somewhere outside of the touristy zone, this is where you kind of run or might run into the problems. And this is where it's really important not to guess, not to assume, but rather use somebody who is familiar with the area, so they can do the proper search of the titles and the ownership. There are quite a bit of rules which we don't have in Canada, and we're just simply not aware of it. And then kind of going freestyle might not be the best solution. Yeah.
So definitely work with a trusted advisor, real estate agents, attorneys to avoid those costly mistakes.
Absolutely. I do it in Canada, but here I double down.
Yeah, no, definitely. And well, Max, I appreciate you stopping in and sharing with myself and with our viewers a little bit about a Russian going to Vancouver and now in Cabo. And
That's
so
right.
Anything you need, man, let me know. Thanks for stopping by. And guys, until the next one, bye for now.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Nick Fong Podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast and the YouTube channel at youtube.com/Ronival Real Estate and follow Nick on Instagram at NickFong_Ronival. Ready to find your Baja dream home? Check out the latest property listings at Ronival.com or findmexicohouses.com. Hasta luego.